For too long, the American church has only proven its resistance to the culture of death, which slaughters babies at the tune of $1 million a year, by saying, I'm pro-life, and the culture of death goes, that's it? Epic. Exactly what we want, cheap grace Christians. Now, maybe you're saying, Seth, listen, I'm pro-life, but fighting abortion isn't my calling. I love that it's your calling, Seth, but my calling is to serve at soup kitchens, and each person's entitled to their own calling. Listen, I'm not here to say other issues don't matter, that other social issues or justice issues don't matter. They all matter. But not all issues carry the same moral weight. Slavery was not the only issue of its day in 1850s America, was it? The Holocaust was not the only issue of its day in 1940s Germany, was it? There were still poor people. There were women who were being beat up by their husbands. There were children who were being abused. There were lots of other issues going on. But don't we all look back at that time and say, well, that was the dominant issue of its day? Abortion is the dominant issue of our day, you guys, because abortion is not just one issue among many. The right to life is not just one right among many. It is the prerequisite right, without which no other rights make any sense or have any meaning. And this is why our founder said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. That means obvious. Duh. That we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are the right to life. Oh, look, they put life first. Ronald Reagan recognized this in his book, Abortion and the Conscience of a Nation. Yes, because abortion represented what we really believed. It was a litmus test of this republic, because it strikes at the very heart of who we are as a people and a republic. And Reagan was pro-choice. He actually has unborn blood on his hands because of his policies in California, and he had a conversion. Here's what he said in his book. Abraham Lincoln recognized that we cannot survive as a free land as long as some men could decide that others are not fit to be free and should therefore be slaves. Likewise, we cannot survive as a free country today when some men can decide that others are not fit to live and should be abandoned to abortion and infanticide. So, there is no cause more important than affirming the transcendent right to life of all human beings, the right without which no other rights have any meaning. In other words, if you don't get the right to life right, you won't get any other rights right. The right to liberty, property, and pursuit of happiness don't mean much. In fact, they mean nothing at all if you could be murdered. Confession, words, and resistance, putting your beliefs into action. So to move from mere confession to resistance, we must do three things. We must see the reality of what is happening to God's preborn image bearers. Secondly, we must judge what the reality of abortion and the abortion industry means in the light of God's truth, in the light of our faith. And lastly, once we see what's happening, and you know why it's important, you have a duty and responsibility to act. But this requires abandoning our all too popular comfortable Christianity and embracing a comprehensive Christianity that gets off the bench, gets your boots on the battlefield, to fight on behalf of those who cannot, to speak on behalf of those who cannot. Proverbs 31:8, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. The preborn, literally, cannot speak for themselves. But we also cannot speak for ourselves. Apart from Christ's sacrifice on the cross, his resurrection, and his offer of free salvation, we are also those who cannot speak for ourselves. Who can stand before God on the day of judgment and say, Jesus, perfect record over here, baby. Oh yeah, open up the gates of glory. This is why Scripture says that we have an advocate who pleads our case before the Father. He is Jesus Christ, the one who is truly righteous. What's an advocate? Someone who speaks up for someone else. Pro-life resistance to the culture of death is simply the correct response of the heart to the gospel. Love as I have loved you. So if Christ spoke up for us when we were utterly incapable of doing so, how can we not speak up for the preborn children in our midst who are equally unable to speak up for themselves? You see, the gospel is at the very heart of pro-life resistance to the culture of death.